Alright, so as you guys might have heard, Marvel recently released the first ever trailer for the upcoming Captain Marvel movie, and it actually looks pretty good. There's tons of throwbacks, references to the comics, and plenty of other cool stuff in this trailer to check out, so let's not waste any time here, let's take a look at the new trailer for Captain Marvel. So the trailer starts off with Carol falling from the sky after some big explosion and crash landing into a random blockbuster. Given what all we see in the rest of the trailer, I'd say it's a pretty safe bet to say that the explosion was from a fight Carol was having with a bunch of Skrulls.
Well, no.
Conveniently though, forcing her to hang around on Earth leads her to meet S.H.I.E.L.D. agents Nick Fury and Phil Coulson, as evidenced by what looks like Coulson showing Carol around what I think is a secret S.H.I.E.L.D. facility, hence that sweet cap, and the fact that Fury seems like he's going to be pulling a Jane Foster and spend most of the movie hanging around with some superpowered person who just showed up from space. Speaking of the son of Cole, we do get a quick glimpse of him in this trailer, and he just looks off to me. Seriously, I don't know what it is, considering how he doesn't really look all that different compared to his other appearances in the MCU. Maybe it's the fact that he's got a little bit more hair or something? Seriously, the de-aging doesn't work for him at all. But to be fair, maybe it's just one of those things I have to see a few times to get used to. On the flip side though, the de-aging effects on Sam Jackson look amazing. And what's even cooler than that is the fact that he actually has both of his eyes here. We don't actually get to see him lose his eye in the trailer, but we do get to see him holding an ice pack to the same eye he's missing in the future while there's a Skrull on an operating table, so that's something, right? Skipping back over to our main character, this trailer does set up the idea that Carol's struggling with amnesia and is trying to figure out who she is and why she feels so at home on Earth. We get a few shots of Carol's military training, some memories of her as a young kid, and her hanging out with her best friend Maria Rambeau. Maria, if you guys remember your Marvel history, is actually the mother of Monica Rambeau, who once operated under the Captain Marvel codename in the comics. That probably won't have anything to do with anything in the movie, I just thought it was interesting. Anyways, we also get a few shots towards the end of the trailer showing Carol flying into space, crash landing back on Earth with a spaceship, and getting her powers after getting caught in an explosion. Considering how the movie's apparently trying to skip the whole origin story angle, I'm pretty sure this is a flashback, probably one that Carol has as she's remembering more of her life on Earth. Because of the explosion, and because of this shot that makes Carol look like she's being experimented on or something, I'd say it's pretty likely that the Kree noticed her potential to be a living weapon and decided to manipulate her memories in order to get her to join up with them. There's actually a run in the comics from Kelly DeConnick that features something like this, with Carol losing her memories after overusage of her abilities, with everything tracing back to one of Carol's enemies, the Kree commander Jan Rog, a character who once worked with Ronan the Accuser, who we also see in the trailer by the way, in an attempt to overthrow the Kree's main leader, a giant head in a jar known as the Supreme Intelligence. Speaking of, did you notice how we got this really quick shot of Jude Law, but we aren't told or shown anything about him? Well, that may be because there's a possibility that Jude Law is actually playing Jan Rog rather than the original Captain Marvel, Marvel. Even if you don't think Jude Law is secretly a bad guy in this movie, you gotta admit that it's interesting that everybody involved with this movie has been trying so hard to keep from saying who he is. Even Jude Law himself was quoted as saying, "Yes, it's been reported I'm playing Marvel." I'm not going to confirm or deny that. Seriously, why all the secrecy? If he was playing a hero like Marvel, why wouldn't he or Marvel just say something? On the other hand, all that secrecy would actually make sense if he were really secretly a villain, wouldn't you think? Speaking of the Kree though, we get a few different shots of them scattered throughout the trailer, like this shot right here, where we see Carol apparently living on the Kree homeworld Hala. There's also a few shots of Carol as part of Star Force, one of which featuring her wearing a helmet and sporting a mohawk, just like in the comics. Now I'm gonna be honest, I'm not a huge fan of the mohawk look. I never really thought it looked all that great on the page, but it actually looks kinda cool in live action. There's also what looks like a battle going on. It's probably something that happens after this shot. And of course, no movie's complete without some villains, which we get in the form of the Skrulls. And apparently some random old lady. In all seriousness, I get that the shot of the Skrulls before this one is supposed to be a clue that they shapeshift, one of them clearly turned into this old lady, and that's why she got knocked the f out, blah blah blah. But considering how the trailer never actually acknowledged that this group of Piccolo lookalikes can shapeshift, and that we get the whole "discover what makes her a hero" tagline right before this shot, I think making the general non-comic book reading audience watch a superhero apparently duck some random elderly person in the jaw is fucking hilarious. And finally, the trailer ends with a shot of Carol in her proper Captain Marvel costume, charging up her energy for something or other. She could be getting ready for some kind of big attack, or, more likely, this is our first look at Carol's binary form. Yeah, I know the Brood gave Carol her binary powers in the comics, and they haven't popped up in the MCU yet, but it's kinda hard to look at something like this and not immediately think about binary. But I guess we'll wait and see what the later trailers say about what's going on here. And that's it. That's everything we got to see in the first trailer for Captain Marvel. It's a great trailer, but it does leave you with a ton of questions. Like, how many of the Skrulls are still going to be hiding out on Earth by the time the credits roll? How's this movie going to tie into both Infinity War and Avengers 4? And how big of a role will Carol's cat Chewie get in the movie? And will they actually reveal that he's a terrifying looking alien? Well, maybe that's something they should probably save for the sequel. But anyways, guys, that's my take on the Captain Marvel trailer. If you guys agreed with anything I said in this video, or if you have your own theories you want to throw out there, then go ahead and let me know in the comments down below. Otherwise, I will see you all next time. Hey, thanks for watching. If you like this video, then go ahead and click that like button, and if you're new, maybe consider clicking that subscribe button too. I've also got links to my Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and Patreon in the description. You should probably check those out too. And if you want to see more of my content, then you can click the link to my last video. It's right there in the middle of your screen. Alright, and I will see you all next time.